Hmm.
Mm. Oh, it looks like today is going to be a repeat of, I think, a few. Yeah, it was like last week, right? Where I had I didn't get a day off until I think it was Thursday, and then I couldn't stream on Thursday because this person told me Wednesday night that they were going to come over to come like do some stuff in the morning. So I just checked out of it altogether. I said I'll just do one stream that week or this week or whatever, and then after that happened, I just kind of tried to get back in the groove of it. Yeah, today is going to be really interesting because it's another one of those days where there's some stuff going on that I wasn't entirely expecting. Like this person has me. I'm trying to go with them to some appointment they have, and I didn't know exactly when it would be. As it was in the afternoon, so I kind of trying to see if I could because I don't want to keep like putting these off. I can't do it tomorrow because I work again. I could do it Wednesday, but I'd rather not. I like to. I prefer to have one on the weekend and then have one that like is kind of to start the week off, kick the week off, you could say. So I said my schedule is so funky. I remember I did the work weekend streams. The idea behind that was like you get off so damn late, 12, 1, 2, 3 in the morning that you basically just wait like an hour or 2 hours and then you stream. Um, and then you finally go to sleep at like 6 or 7 in the morning. And then when you wake up at probably around 12, 1, 2, you get maybe like an hour to be on the computer before you have to go and drive over to your job to get there before 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock or whatever. 'Cause that traffic, especially on the weekend, uh, well, I guess I shouldn't say that. It's more so when you have shifts that start at 5, 6, 7, and they don't have these anymore, but they used to have ones that start at 8 p.m. You never know what you're gonna find when you get over there. Also, I know that on Saturday I was talking a lot of trash about food prices. And like, I tried to explain the reason I'm that way when it comes to stuff is that as someone who has now gone through almost 2 years of just having no assistance with any damn thing, I'm very I guess particular about what I eat, and more specifically about how much it costs. Because there's always the concern of you know having some crap on the horizon that's going to cost a whole bunch of money, or so some kind of unforeseen thing that's going to occur where you're going to need hundreds of dollars or whatever to be able to handle it. And I have noticed and really thought to myself, what is the point of buying most of the food from these different places if I can get something that fills me up just as much, if not more, that's way cheaper? I just don't understand the point. Tell you, the cost of this stuff gets kind of crazy. I went inside. I think it was Dunkin' Donuts yesterday because I only ran one errand, which was to go and return some stuff I bought on Amazon that I didn't need anymore. Um, and I came out of the place to return it and saw that they had a Dunkin' Donuts by there. And I walked inside, and the lady says something about I'll help you in the moment or whatever. And I never understood why these places have like 4 or 5 people working in them, and they can't just have one person always be around to like take an order. It's really weird. But I go in there and I look at the things on the menu. They have a damn just they have obviously the donuts, which I don't know how much those cost. I didn't look, but I went and I looked at some of the little like stuff they make, little food items, and I saw they had one sandwich that was like $5, and I don't know. Like I look at a lot of this stuff again, and I always think about how, like in my mind, the gears start turning. It's like, okay, $5 for that sandwich might not seem like, a bad price, but now I start thinking, well, hmm, at the market right now, I can get 3 bags of chips for, I believe, $6. Um, and I know for a fact that I'm not going to eat 3 bags of chips back to back. Like just one or two of those will fill me up for at least most of a day. So I just I just walked out of there. But yeah, that is what I've become, the ultimate penny pincher when it just because I look at the prices on this stuff and I just don't think it's worth it. Like I have this one place up for right by the where I am now, and like you can get 2 burgers for I think $7, and I'll take it. I mean that's way more preferable to me because if I decide I want to get 3 of them and it's like 10, 11, 12, I know I'm not going to eat all 3 of those at once. So you could eat two and and be full for a very large portion of the day, and then eat the last one, at midnight or that night or whatever. And then obviously I'll have some chips or some other item to round it out. But you get the idea generally is that I'm always thinking about, okay, how much does this cost in relation to that? Like I said, the only two things I've been buying with any consistency for the last 3 months, and hell, even actually, if you want to make an argument for this entire year, because I had so much, that whole like minus 1,000 a month thing was just 5 months of that drove me insane. But the only things I have been buying consistently for this entire year have been food and gas. That is it. No, I started to write the script for this new edited video. I don't think I'll be able to finish it today because I got I'm trying to do another part of the damn documentary. I have most of the script for that written, but I still have to record it and edit it. So I think that would probably at the earliest possibly be because I work tomorrow. So I think again at the earliest, um before this weekend. That's just me trying to be positive. Like I would love to put it out tomorrow, but I just think it'll be too much work, especially if I have to go to the job. Like if I had the whole day of tomorrow to just like from now, like because the script is 90 something percent done. It's like a few more pages and I have left and I just, read through it and make sure everything is grammatically there. Um, but yeah, I could record it today. And begin editing it later on in the day, presumably after running this errand. And then from there, probably, like I said, I'm not going to rush myself with this stuff. I try to consistently do at least one of these a month. That's my goal. I don't always fulfill it. I did want part two to come out after part one, like some weeks later. It's been a month now. I don't feel as bad because part two is going to be twice as long as part one, so it's a nice trade off, I guess. But no, when I got my first day off since last Saturday, I think it was on Thursday. I I don't think I even I maybe I went somewhere, I'm trying to remember, but I know that between that person coming that morning and I actually take back, I know I went to get something to eat, and that was it. Like, I was passed out, and I even mentioned this before, I really don't go anywhere that I would consider far away, or I guess, not close by, like a mile away, like anywhere that's like over 10 miles other than to just go to my job. Mm. One, because the cost of gas is just ridiculous, but also, there's just not much to do. I mean, in terms of like stuff with people. Oh man, I'm just thinking about how crazy these next couple of weeks are going to be. One of my favorite guys that I work with is apparently going to be leaving this week or next week, and I have to say I'm getting more and more frustrated because there seems to be a running theme where the people I like the most at my job just leave, like they just go. The manager I like the most left back in. It's been during the time I've been over here so probably around July, early July, and I didn't even know he was leaving until the day that like his last day there, like that we just announced. I was like, oh my god. Um, then again, like the one that I mentioned earlier. So it's just I'm just noticing more and more people are hitting the exit stage left, and it's always the people I like that go. The ones I don't like, they stay month after month. I compare them to roaches because that's exactly what they are. Really drives me crazy. Can't get away from these aggravating bastards. And trust me, I have tried. I've had so many instances where I see them like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to say anything to him. I'll just sit in my corner and put my head down. But man, I just I really don't want to have any. I've made this point before. I don't believe that people are benefited by having conflicts with others, especially people they have to see recurringly. Like, internet stuff is whatever. People are going to come on there, call you a name. It's prerequisite that people online tend to be a lot nastier than they are in real life, or that are the ones you'll encounter in real life are rather. But what drives me insane is that you have these coworkers where they can start a problem with you over almost anything. Like I remember they had me taking the trash out, and I say to this one of the women that works there, like, behind or whatever. She's not, and she's like, "You're being rude." And I'm like, "What the hell?" Like, I don't say anything, but it's a prerequisite that if someone is in front of you, like, I guess the alternative phrase is "excuse me," but oftentimes they'll say behind to let someone know that they are, in case you couldn't hear them, like walking behind you or standing behind you, obviously. Uh, and that's one of the reasons why I get so annoyed with a lot of that stuff where just you're put in these positions where you have to like interact with these people, and it feels like any little thing can set someone off, like anything at all. You didn't say hi to me. or oh, I didn't like the way you looked at me. I said, man, people are so aggravating. On you, it's just so. I don't know how I've survived 10 months up there. I'm still in shock because, like I said, all the other places I was there for about 2 weeks before they start, doing their favorite recurring gag of, oh yeah, if we don't see you improve by next time, we're gonna have to let you go. So this place has been a very decisive change. Although, like I said, the biggest problem is still the inconsistent hours, and I guess that's been a big part of what's caused some of the people that I was friendly with to leave from there. Just how you'll work there, and this week you get 3 days, next week you get 4 days, week after that 2. Like I said, I remember when made my decision to bolt from over there. And it was because I looked on the schedule for the job and they only gave me 2 shifts for like 1 whole week of like nothing damn near at all. And then the week after that was 2, and I said, if I'm only getting 2 shifts a week for the next 4 weeks, and this is not what happened, but it's just what I thought would occur, then there would be no way for me to cover, you know, the amount of money that the bank and then this other person are sticking their hand out for. It just wouldn't be economically possible. So that played a big role in me just being like, all right, well, I guess I'm out. Oh, let me type this thing out. No, I hope we can get some better schedules in the next coming weeks. Like my plan is to at least make a year, and then after that, anything goes. I do feel very bad that the place that has had me the longest still can't decide if it wants to use me a few days a week, a few times a month. It's insane. But like I said, they're really playing with fire because I explained to somebody else the idea behind hiring multiple people instead of just like one person full time is that you don't have to pay the multiple people overtime, right? Because they're never going to get enough hours that reaches the 40 plus a week that would go into making it even more money for them. But the snag to doing that is you are disincentivizing people from wanting to stay on your crappy job because, as I've said before, the main purpose of having a job is to be granted the ability to take care of yourself. And with most people that are not, you know, high school aged or it's presumably can just like go and run back to their parents, they're going to look at the lack of hours and they're going to say, okay, this is stupid. So I guess I need to get out of here. So like I said, they can keep playing this game. They have exactly 1 more month before even I start doing the whole. And I've already had points where I've been driven to, I guess, withdrawing or exiting or like, okay, well, I guess I have to go find something else. But what always, and I've said this before, what always has made me kind of reluctant to pull the switch is that when you have, I guess, have had the bad experiences I've had with these places where you start working somewhere and after like 2 weeks they try to get rid of you. You're worried that if you leave the place that's had you the longest and you try to work somewhere else, that new place might end up doing the same thing that your other past jobs have done. So that's been the one thing that's kind of kept me on my tippy toes. Like, do I want to go? I don't know. You just never can tell with these places and these people. Of course, the managers don't care because they're all getting those damn near double shifts 4 times a week. So that like what 10 hours for Monday through Thursday or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. They're not worried about having to get a second job. But I said before that you can't reasonably expect to live off of one of these jobs unless you're a manager. Both because of the pay increase and because the company has to at least pretend more so than with most people to care about you. It must be real fun being a manager with some of these places. I've seen managers, they will spend an entire shift just walking around, standing in a corner, directing people. Can you go do this? Can you go do that? Now, some managers I've also seen who will, take out trash or make food or, just like actually do stuff. But some of them, you can't convince me that it's not just the easy payday for these people. Like they drive me crazy. I remember one time I was I guess one of the managers had like a headset on. It's like when people are like taking orders or whatever. And I have the like manager's office like right behind me when I'm cleaning stuff. I look in there and I see I don't know if what type of console it was. I think it was an Xbox, not the original black one, but some gaming console in there. You guys have turned your job into a joke. You can come up here and play a video game like in the office and not get in trouble. But they do stupid stuff like that and just have complete immunity. Like I remember looking on the screen because they have their computer screen like facing this way. So like when I turn back, I can see the screen, and they're going on Amazon. Like it's people really get to just sit here and if they're in a high enough position for their company, they can do whatever they want. They can sit in the office all day long. They can stare at the wall. Everybody else has to make food and jump around and take orders and of course my favorite pastime is that they'll do this thing and it's real funny because it's like again like the whole fake concern aspect of these employers on a day where it's really hot because I'm over here in Blazing, California. We had some days last week that were 90 degrees, and I tried to explain to someone that doesn't live over here that the heat and the weather of this state fluctuates. In the earlier part of the year, I've seen days where it's been very cool, where the sun won't even come out. But for this summer, it's been very warm. And what I just thought was so crazy. Now my chat will work. Oh, well, I'm glad it finally works. But no, I thought it was crazy that they'll sit here and prevent people from going outside to take orders because it's so hot and we don't want you guys burning up. But then if they want you to take out the trash, it doesn't matter if it's 30 degrees or 90 degrees or 100 degrees, they will send you out there in either the coldest of weathers or the hottest of weathers. It could look like the North Pole or the damn desert. As long as they have trash needs to be taken out and you've been selected, you will go out there in that weather. They do not care. I remember the look on my face when like I opened the door and I just because they're in the inside they have the air conditioner. When I opened that door and I just felt the heat wave. Oh man. And, a lot of times a person can feel even more warm when they're, like physically active. So like if you just had to go out there and maybe throw one bag away, whatever, but it's just having to walk back and forth, grab this, pick this up, lift this. I remember the Wednesday shift I had where, and this is like at the middle point of June, so it's right in the center of the heat. They had this damn they had this really long line of cars, and I was like moving through it because for whatever reason we have to direct traffic when we're taking this stuff out, and I had all this sweat just pouring down in my face, and it got in my eye. It was burning, and of course, when it's really warm and you're out there taking out trash, you can't use your hands to wipe your face off because they're dirty, so you're just screwed. I used to work for Honda. It was very similar with them. Heat exhaustion is real. I thought I was going to pass away. I said, I clocked in for a shift today. I'll be clocking into the funeral home tomorrow. Serious. This weather is nuts, and they love doing their fake concern. Oh, it's hot outside, so you guys don't have to take orders. You know, because of how warm it is. Oh, there's trash. Get out there. Well, they're just not consistent. They say one thing and do something else, or rules for thee, but not for me. Every time I see a manager taking out the trash, I'm like, you guys must be really low staff today. And I've only seen about maybe two instances, I guess three instances of them doing that. It is a very rare thing. I remember the first time one of them did it with me, he told me to go outside from the other door. I couldn't believe it. And that was the one I liked the most because he seemed to be the most humble. Like we had this conversation where he told me about how he had never seen so much drama at a job before, like working there, because a lot of younger people work at that job, and you can just tell that they call up these like the HR department. I call it the crybaby hotline. You can get in trouble for standing next to somebody. It's really insane. he, he, he said hello to me. There was some girl that worked there. She got reported, I think, 3 times for swearing. I said all the nasty things I've heard the people up here say, both when we're clocked in and when they're leaving. And man, so I said people just they have no standards. They will try to destroy someone's whole livelihood over any perceived infraction. You don't even have to do something like egregious to another person. Um, Yeah, that's why when we had I had the mixed signals queen saga earlier this year. The reason that story is so screwed up is that you want to talk about the damn hero to villain arc where you have this coworker you're really friendly with, and you're like, hey, I go and see do stuff with people outside here before. Why not ask her if she wants to go see a movie? She agrees to go see it with you, stands you up at the last minute. You don't talk to her for 2 weeks, but you feel like was this really like the end of the world? So you apologize, even though she's the one that destroyed the meeting, and then you're like, hey, so maybe we could still do that. And her new twist is she goes, I'll let you know anytime you ask her when she'll be available. She just never directly what will give a time. Acts like she's the business person in the world. And this all culminates in you finally saying to her, look, I'm not stupid. I know you don't want to talk to me. I'm not going to bother doing this anymore. And her retaliating by going to the HR department to about, I thought he was recording me. And then the HR department, which is tilted in favor of chicks, thinks her request is that her report is so stupid because she's on video coming up and sitting next to the person that she claimed made her uncomfortable. I'll never forget that saga for as long as I live. 2 months of terror all over a dingbat that couldn't just say no. Courtney, I want to ask you if you had someone that asked you if you wanted to go see a movie and you didn't want to go see it with them, wouldn't you just say no? Would you sit there for what was that 6 7 weeks going? Oh, I'll let you know. Yeah, maybe we could do it. I'll let you know. Just insane. And of course, that roach still works there because they never get rid of the people I don't like. They stay there forever. But this one guy told me they're really desperate for people, and I believe it because I've never seen someone show up late and absent over and over again. Yeah, I had never had anything like that happen. Like I've had probably about 6 or 7 different jobs, and that's someone who's scared to say no. Well, I mean, sure, but you understand that the alternative is no better. I mean, if you're going to just sit there and keep leading someone on to believe you want to do something with them, but then never actually letting it progress, in what way are you being benefited? Like, I guess the alternative is to just keep stalling, like hoping that they will just keep believing you when you say, I'll let you know, and then you never let them know. Not saying you made them scared. Oh no, Courtney, you don't know I'm the most blamed man of all time. So anytime something dumb happens with someone, especially if it's a woman, I get blamed for it. So if the situation were reversed and I had stood her up, I would be rightfully criticized for being flaky, not coming to the thing I said I would come to. But if when they do that to me, it's my fault. See, women sometimes saying no actually results in violence. Well, you can say that, but you also have to keep in mind that this is a person that I work with. They have cameras everywhere. So I mean, you could say that it would result like she could be afraid of saying no, but I guess I'm a lot less sympathetic because this isn't some random person I just met off the street. I knew her for about 2 3 months before even trying to go and hang out or whatever or do anything outside of there. Um, so you would think there'd be like some more, like some level of trust familiarity with this person. But also, again, if you're afraid, you're in an area where there's a bunch of witnesses. They have this stuff on camera. So, oh no, I'm saying her past is what causing that kind. Oh no, Courtney, she was full of crap because she tried to tell me that she's not a very social kind of person. Then I'll never forget. It was like 2 3 weeks after she reported me, this other guy was like, "Hey, I'll pick you up at 8." And then she said, "Okay," right to getting picked up by him after spending months just like blocking me from doing anything with her outside of there. And then here's a plot twist. My favorite part is that event they were supposed to go to, she stood him up and then came with this other guy, and they showed up in their pajamas to to signify to everybody that they were dating. Man, no, I'm just saying she was not scared. It was like we know she wasn't scared of doing something with somebody outside of there because she agreed to go with the other guy to the company event and then stood him up like someone else that was talked about earlier, and then came to the event with another man and they came in their pajamas. Oh, one of the it's easy because I don't find you hot. Oh, that was my favorite part about the video I did on her. That these people are like, because I remember the I did a stream talking about it the week after it happened, where just how like, and I can't understand this. You destroy like a meeting with somebody, right? And then the person is, I think, naturally upset with you for destroying it, and then you get mad at them. I like that doesn't make any sense to me. But man, you should have seen it. And that stream is still up, where they're like, "You got rejected." I'm like, this wasn't even romantic. Like I've had 2, 3 different coworkers, guys, but still, that I've gone to the movies with, I've gone to the mall with, I've gone to stores with. So, I didn't see the thing with her as being any different, but that's why it's so frustrating that this person agrees to it, just like everybody else has agreed to it, and then does this whole like roundabout way of trying to, not go through with it. Imagine making fun of somebody for getting rejected when the person they asked if they want to go see a movie with agreed to it and then gave them their number. Like I was very rejected. Ego boost. Look at how many people want me. Kind of mentality, insecure deep down. Like I said, if I tried to sit here and actually like diagnose why she did what she did, I think I would need to go to an insane asylum. You'll have your mind go into pieces trying to figure out the logic of these people. I gave up on her a long time ago. For like since March, I've just been you dodged the. I don't know. I mean, all I was trying to do was just go see a movie. Like she's the one that made it overcomplicated. And like I said, she's not too smart because her revenge tactic was to try and report me to HR, and they saw the footage and they were like, okay, if he made you uncomfortable, why would you come up to him? Like, why would you come and sit by him if you're so uncomfortable being around him? Like, but and my favorite revelation is that because they always call the person that the claim is made on before they proceed with things. My favorite part of that was how the lady told me that she had made the report the day after that night. So that means that she went home and was like twirling her, mustache. It's like, I will get back at him. Oh yeah, a lot. That's why I brought up earlier. A lot of the people that work there are young, and you see the immaturity and the just the way that they act towards the people that work with them and the stuff they're willing to do. Like there was a girl that worked there who told me that she wanted to report one of the guys for calling her a leprechaun. That's the big offensive thing that made her want to just like get him in trouble with his job. He called her a leprechaun. That was the very sinister thing that he needed to be reprimanded over. I don't know if she did it, but if she did, it didn't work because he still works there. I said that when I call her, like, my nickname for the one that reported me is the mixed signals queen. When she reported me and it didn't work, it's like when North Korea fires a missile and it lands back on the. And the crazy part is that for the whole 2 months that was going on, she probably got laughed out at HR. Oh, I have no doubt in my mind if she even went through with it, because I think somebody might have talked her out of it. But my favorite thing is that this whole saga with that idiot started in January and it ended in March. So it was, and I didn't tell anyone that worked there anything about it for the entire time it was going on because I didn't want to like stir drama. I was still trying to make amends with her, whatever. So it was just 2 months of me being in my own private hell. And then after she did that report, and like 2 weeks later, when I heard the whole thing of the guy and I'll pick you up at 8, and just like realized how full of crap she was. Man, I spread that story around like wildfire. I was telling all types of people. I just didn't care anymore. You're gonna sit here and try to have somebody fired because they lightly teased you for being flaky. Oh no, what a sick thing. I mean, you should have seen it. And the worst part is I had 3 people warn me that she was going to try to get me in trouble. One of them on this very website. One of my relatives warned me about her. This guy I know on Discord warned me about her. And then one of the guys who used to come to my streams all the time was like, she's going to try to get you in trouble. And I was like, no, she wouldn't do it because we already had one falling out where for 2 weeks we didn't speak to each other. And, she didn't do that. So I thought I was safe. But when I got that call that Friday, she made me look like the biggest liar and fool in the history of the state of California. I had someone try to get me fired because she didn't like my husband who was worked as a different company who had worked at a different company with her sister. Imagine like trying to get somebody in trouble because of who they're married to. Your marriage to this person impedes your ability to fulfill the task of your job. Get out. Courtney, how does it feel to attend the stream of the biggest liar and fool in the history of the state of California? Do you feel your intelligence slipping? Do you feel the deceit just permeating from the US to Canada? I told you, these people think this is a game. Oh, don't start with him. I've had so many of his cult members come and he actually would I guess qualify as the biggest liar and fool in the history of either New York or Florida. So I guess he would have that title in another state. But no, his followers, they come on my stuff all the time. If you it's like every 2 weeks I just get stormed with a bunch of them. We're not in the cult. His 91 criminal charges are all false. Even though he was convicted on like 30 of them. So it's like every must be 5 or 6 days. I don't even have to put his name in the title. I can just talk about one of his sidekicks because there's a lot of like members of Congress that are like really just into glazing him, and here they come. Well, when that happened, I'd actually done a stream that morning, and then I did a video on it the day after, and I said I don't support violence towards any politicians, and it was really funny because like the only comment I had was some guy saying I had a dead account, even though I can go in my analytics and show where they're all green, but whatever. Let them believe what they want to believe. Hey, what was it? Don't believe your lying eyes. Your channel is dying as it gets more views than ever before. You are fading away. They believe what they want to believe and they see what they want to see. And I'm telling you, that's why a lot of this commentary from these people, and it's not even people, these like weird guys, like they go on stuff and they write some of the most strangest conclusions. Hell of a way to go. No, really, there was a guy that came on. I did this video. It was like, you do like a video just vent about just stuff in general. And he wrote this paragraph comment. And like in the comment, he's like, oh, no, nobody owes you gas money. Get it yourself. And I'm like, idiot, did you not hear the part of the video where I mentioned having a job and that uh in most cases a person would expect that once they get hired somewhere and are working regularly, they have a better chance of actually being able to take care of themselves. But in my situation, I had to start paying all this stuff to the bank, and I had this relative that was like squeezing. I think you know which relative I'm talking about. Squeezing $300 out of me every month, so it was like minus 1,000 as a part-time employee, and he just completely like discounted the part of me working. Like he made me sound like I was just this uh I don't even know which one to call it, bum that was just waiting for someone to, like, I'm this damsel in distress waiting for someone to rescue them. It was so weird. That's why I said they see what they want to see and they hear what they want to hear. Same thing with this romance stuff. Like this whole situation with the mixed signals queen, as I call her, nothing to do with romance. It was just, hey, you want to go see a movie together? That's all it would have been. I've gone to the movies with plenty of other people, and there was no touchy feely romantic crap at all. I've said this before. I have not asked out a woman on a date in 3 years at a minimum. And they still, anytime you talk about a woman, you're trying to get with her. No, I'm not. I did one on this girl that was on Discord, um, who told me all this personal stuff about her and then started like acting really cold and then literally blocked me for saying I missed her. And I thought that was like so deranged and crazy to block. Like I can understand if someone writes you some like inappropriate message, they curse you out for not speaking to them in a long time, whatever. But like I've like I literally can't recall being blocked by someone for saying I missed them. That was like I've never seen that before. And these guys come to video and they're like, uh, you were turned down by her because you are not physically attractive. You should go get surgery. I'm like, dude, this has nothing to do with getting. Well, first of all, who the hell is going to go and like get surgery to talk to some bimbo on the internet? but but secondly, like this has nothing to do with getting a date. Friends can miss each other. Apparently not. Not with these modern stooges. And it's like, imagine hiding your face, like just not showing what you look like, right? And you're like, this other man should go get surgery because he is so ugly. That is why this woman blocked him for saying that he missed her. Dude, the self awareness is just. Well, that was the thing I said that like all the years, like these guys have been making weird comments about what I look like, what I wear, all accusing me of being gay, all this just throwing everything at the wall but the kitchen sink, right? And not a single one of them, out of all the accounts, all the paragraph long diatribes, has ever proven that they're with a woman. It's like they can't even prove that they have half of one. They couldn't even do a video where they show like the legs of a lady. They're like, oh, this is my girlfriend. Like and that's what I think is like so ironic about it. They will shame another man so much for not being with a woman, and then they have no proof that they're with one either. Literally since this started all the way back, and I think it was like 2015, 16, 17, I've never seen a single guy who writes one of these like really nasty comments ever showed her with a broad. No proof. I said, if it's so easy to get a date, why aren't, where are their videos? Where's their evidence? Interesting. Oh, they've been talking about like you wouldn't believe me. They've talked about my hair. They've talked about they don't like my face or my dressing sense or my spectacles. They used to criticize the way my hands look. They would say they were modeled in vain. And then why are you wearing gloves? Like they have a problem with everything. Only girl they ever kissed was their moms. I don't even think they kissed their moms. I think the only girl they ever kissed was the damn what's the blow up doll where you like print out like one of those cartoon girls and like make it so big that it's like life size. Well, people are allowed to like have whatever opinion about clothes that they want, but you get where it's weird that if these are supposedly straight men, that they would hyper focus on the appearance of another man. Like I never watch a video of a guy like talking and I'm just like, "Hmm, what is he wearing? Let me see what he has on." It's just weird. No, I pledge to you. There's a whole bunch of like different commentators I've been a fan of. They show their face in all their videos. I've never once been like, what's that suit he has on? Is it Versace? Is it like I'm just listening to the person speak. I don't care. They just get so weird. No, I've been criticized for everything. Like they have no shortage of complaints. They're always upset. They're always in disagreement. People be unhappy with themselves and take it out on everyone else. Yeah, because my thing is, when you get a guy who writes, and this goes back to the one that said the thing about, nobody owes you gas money, blank, get it yourself. He wrote, get out there and win. And it's like, what the hell are you winning? Like, you're going to sit here and do this, like, supposed motivational crap, but then you yourself are no champion of no symbol of victory. You're another faceless internet guy, another faceless no name internet guy. But again, it's like most people aren't famous, but most people aren't in my comment section trying to put me down over a situation that really was not created by me. Well, look, if you're indigenous, I don't want to say anything about your ethnic identity. I know there's been a big scandal relating to that. People have made whole videos, discussions, panels, threads. I know I was referencing, that you remind me. I was in this one Discord VC, and this guy was like reported. He was going to report some other guy for, I guess, trolling, and the guy was like, "I could say that you're trying to get me out of here because of my minority status." And I looked at his picture. I said, "You're white as snow." What minority? No, I was making a reference to a certain controversy relating to one of your relatives. I don't. That's all I'll say. No, we had Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, and that guy in that server was was Snow White with his 7 lives. They make up anything. Like, I wish you had seen his avatar. There's no way that wasn't a Caucasian person. I refuse to, like, I'd sooner believe in Santa than that than that being a minority. But like, damn, I've panhandled on the side of the road for bus change to get to where I am, to get to work in the day. People be real mad when someone is trying harder than they are. Well, I guess what disturbed me so much is I'm so used to, like, the whole blame the man anytime a woman does something stupid thing is ingrained in me to the point where I just expect that no matter what crazy thing some woman I speak to does, I'll just be blamed for it, or they'll both sides or say you should have, whatever. But to go to someone's video where they're talking about economic issues, right? Like Courtney, you might not be aware of this, but it is a fact that most Americans can't afford $1,000 emergency. Most Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Like most people in the U.S. are poor. That is the reality of the situation. The rich have been getting richer, the poor have been getting poorer, and this faceless bastard that no one has ever seen before, no one has seen since, feels like they can come and tell you, "Oh yeah, you need to. You sound like uh, a coward complaining about how it's just like, dude, get out of here." Meanwhile, statistically, women are more violent. I mean, hey, from what we know about some of your relatives, I believe a lot of statistics if you factor them in. It's really sad the way people act. Meanwhile, you're talking about gas, so you own a car. Yeah, and my job is 30 miles away from me. Um, so like two and back is like 60 miles, which is the equivalent of 2 gallons of gas, which is at this point about $8. So for each time I go to my job, it's about $8 to or eight to $10 just to go out there. The relationships with the highest rate of divorce is actually lesbian relationships. Wow. Oh yeah, we have statistics that go into just like the decline of relationships in general. Like we've had record divorce rates, low level. I think we're at the lowest level of childbirths in 30 years. It does add up, and that's why. So again, last Saturday I was just talking about how my job disgusted me because they went from giving us free food, like free food that they were going to throw out if we didn't eat it. So it's not like it cost them anything, right? The stuff they already made that they're not going to give serve to customers. They went from giving us free food to now you can't get free food. Oh, oh, at least you have a discount, right? But you can only use your discount at the store you work at. And you understand that if I order something that is $11 and it becomes 6, the fact that I have to drive 30 miles to get the $5 off, like it's stupid. It doesn't help me. It's just it's nothing. Like whatever amount you would save from the discount is not applicable because the amount of gas to go out there and get the discount, it's one step forward, one step back is what I'm saying. So their next trick was to do this. This is nuts. They tell me my discount only applies to one meal. So if I order two of something, in the past it was like, let's say two of something's like 24, 22, it'll get lowered, like knocked down to 11 because both of them are half off, right? Now they want to do it to where you get one half off and you got to pay full price for the other one. So getting two of something, which used to be $11, is now 17. And they've done this to first. It was one manager that was doing it. Now it's all of them apparently, or at least another one did it to me. The third time that this happened, and the third time I decided it'll be no more time. So I haven't ordered from there or bought anything since. Again, maybe if I didn't have to drive so damn far to get over there, I'd be more willing to pay $6 more just for two of something. But again, it's like that extra $6 or $7 is the cost of more like a gallon and a half of gas. I'm not going to sit there and put up with these higher prices when I have all this other stuff to pay for. I mean, it's nuts. Oh, domestic violence. Okay. This is why I always steal meals from my employers. Oh, I mean, don't. I was trying to save this for another day. I was up there. I think it was could have been last Tuesday, last Monday. I had the days all start to kind of like flow together when you just work 4 days straight. But man, it must have been either Monday or Tuesday. They told me to throw out the some of the food they made, And they do this thing where they put all of it in this big container, and it's like it's hot. It's like fresh off the grill. And I hadn't eaten anything besides, I think, one burger that day, or maybe like 4, 5, 6 hours or so. I was hungry. Man, I took that food, those pieces of it, shoved it right in my pocket, and it was a hot pocket. The pocket was hot from that. And I took the stuff, put it in the bag that like they told me to, went to the bathroom and just shoved that stuff in my mouth and ate it. I was so damn hungry. I didn't even care. Because like it just drove me nuts that the job where they make food has hungry employees. Like that doesn't make sense to me. That's a whole day at work. Okay. Hey, if it's fresh, it's fresh. So I know now you think I'm disgusting. You want to avert your eyes in shame and embarrassment. You'll probably never come to any stream I do from now on. This has soiled my image in your view. Hungry employees. Well, for me, I can't understand the logic of here's all this food that we are going to throw in the trash, and just like we're not going to feed our employees. They're not going to get the option of having this. I've eaten out of dumpsters. I've been home. Hey, I mentioned to you my situation last year. Of course, it was only for 3 weeks, but a lot of the same rules applied. And I told you what caused that. You will pay $500 a month, unemployed person, and also have to pay for your own food and your own gas. We'll see how long you last. Oh yes, I remember the nights of sitting out there in the cold and putting the blanket on top of the windows to make sure that nobody could see in the car. Don't remind me. And like I said, all of that was initiated by a relative wanting $500,000 every month from a person who didn't have a job. And then this me bolting from them back in June was initiated by, because after that happened, it was cut down to 300. So for like must be 4 or 5 months, I was just paying $300 a month to live there without, again, having a job. And then when I got the job, it was like 2 months later I had to start paying the bank 700 because of this house getting reassessed or whatever. So it was for 5 months $1,000 a month, and you have to also still pay for your own food and gas because the person that is charging all this money, they never can find a way to ever assist you with anything you actually need to survive. um, but yeah, after May, I reached the boiling point. I said this is never ending. I can't afford both of these things. um, I just got sick of it. I just packed up some stuff and just came over here, and I haven't been back there since. Well, that was actually a joke I had. I used to have these trolls that would crash on my streams, and then in like last year, they vanished. Like you could barely find them. And I was saying that they basically said, "Damn, his relatives made him homeless." I mean, hey, how can we top that? That's just like the day that I got called by HR about that horrible coworker, the one that pretended to be my friend. I was having a toothache, um like up here, right? And they eventually I ended up having a dentist take the tooth out. But I was surprised how, like, it must have been right after that call finished, I didn't feel any more pain. It was almost like the toothache said, well, hell, she hurt him a hell of a lot more. She hurt him a lot more than I ever could. It just gave up. It said, you know what, I've only been pissing them off for the last 2 or 3 days. This thing with this lady's been going for how many weeks, and it ended like that. The toothache retired. It threw in the towel. If I had a little towel with me, I would actually like throw it right now. The toothache waved the white flag. It was like this. All right, that's it. I can't win. I can't top her. It's funny how the people who claim to love you the most help you the least. Interesting. But no, I had one of the managers come up to me and they were like, "How come you did?" This is the same one that was initially the only one that was doing that thing where she would make the discount only work for one of the, like, if you order two things, it only works for one. She was the one that was doing that, and she was like, "How come you didn't order two of your thing like you do every day of your life?" And it's so funny to think how these people really convince themselves that the crap they're serving at their place is like essential to me. Like, just be like, I explained this before. Oftentimes my shifts are later in the day, 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Sometimes they're a little bit earlier, 3, 4, but oftentimes I get off, it's like 10, 11, 12, 1. And many times in those later hours of the day, places are closed. And when I would get two of something, it was I could eat one before the shift started and then eat one after the shift was over, or like later in the day or whatever. So that's the only reason I was eating from there each time I came, to work. And I would only go there if I had to work, because I'm not going to just drive 30 miles to go to this particular restaurant. So it's really funny that, like, in their minds, they associate me ordering from there as like an essential thing, like I can't live without it. But they've been in for a rude awakening, because this whole past, that was August 22nd, they pulled that stupid thing for the third time, and it's gonna be the last time. I have not ordered from there since. I've been eating at other places. I know a place you can get two burgers for $7. I would go there 50 times a week before I'd ever eat at my job again. When they're gonna sit there and do crazy stuff like that. You gotta work a whole hour just to get two of something at your place. It's just it's crazy. No, if they thought that I needed their stuff, their food, and I'll pay any price, right? They read one man wrong. They miscalculated. LOL. Employer, okay, I gotta go get some chores done. If you're still in when I get back, I'll pop back in. I had fun. Have a good rest of the stream. Well, I appreciate you showing up. I didn't think a big YouTube celebrity like yourself would grace me with your presence, but it is it's very, very welcomed on my end. No, a lot of these jobs just have a. I truly don't know what they get out of antagonizing their employees like this. And that's actually one of the things that was going to lead me to do this video. It was going to be called "What Could Have Been," and it just talks about, I guess, the general idea of how things can be so much better than what they are. Well, I tried to not have any, I guess, high spirited reactions. So I'm glad you enjoy my demeanor. Yeah, I hope you're able to do your chores and play your very difficult video games and run all the rest of your errands. But no, I was with that script, and I've only had about maybe 2 or 3 pages of it written. I think at a maximum, it could be half an hour. I'm not entirely sure, but it's generally about the idea of why can't things be better than what they are, right? Like this stuff have to be the way that it is, and I'm not even talking about some societal change, right? Like you know, there's plenty of stuff that I just in general believe could be better in terms of like the US healthcare system is crap, all these, the daily mass shootings, all the car accidents, just there's plenty of stuff that just on a in a general sense, I think could be improved through either measures done by certain people or measures taken by everybody, just stuff like that in general, I think could be improved. But I mean, in a more personal sense, it's like I think about the one buffoon that had the baby with the guy that I mentioned. I've mentioned her in a long time, but just the person I know who had this boyfriend that was paying for her storage unit, and she was telling them off and just being very unpleasant to him. And then even in spite of how nasty she was, he still ended up staying with her, and they ended up having a child together. And I remember thinking to myself when this initially was discovered on my part that she was pregnant, just feeling this immense sense of frustration because I always have believed that when someone is serious about procreating, having children, they should think proactively about what they're getting themselves into. That if you're going to have kids, it should be with someone who you are serious about staying with, and it should be at a time or in a place where you are financially and I'd say also emotionally capable of taking care of them. Um, there are a lot of people who, even if they're financially there, I don't think they are, from a personality standpoint, equipped to do it. This is why you'll see a lot of people who have money who will pawn their kids off on, the grandparents or um, some staffers or like a nurse or not a nurse but like a nanny, just different. They'll show their their disinterest in their own child by the lack of time they spend with them, even if they have the ability to. These are not people who are working 6 or 7 days a week to make ends meet. These are people who just don't care to spend time with their kids. But between those two things, I thought if you had both of them, right, parent who's financially capable and also who is emotionally put together as well, that things would work and you would actually see something productive. But you don't get that. You see time and time again, at least I've seen these people who are having children and they're doing it on accident. They're doing it recurringly on accident. I mean, I truly can't remember the last time someone I knew personally. I've seen celebrities do it, whatever. They're an outlier, but I can't remember the last time I met someone personally who got married, right? And then was like, "All right, let's have a family." Like planned it. Every instance where it's been a person I have some like pre-existing relationship with having a kid, it's always by accident. Oops, whoops. And you tend to see the same narrative play itself out time and time again. The mother talks about how the dad isn't there for the baby, or the dad isn't doing enough, or just there's a consistency of dissatisfaction on the part of one parent towards the other, which actually drives me kind of crazy because it's not like the thing is we can't control who our parents are or any of our relatives for that matter. But I guess I'm always so frustrated when I hear the complaining about like, oh, the dad is not doing enough or this parent is doing, because it's like you didn't. I'll never believe that these people, when they have these kids by these, I guess either fathers or mothers that don't want to have, don't want to be there for their children, that they just were so caught off guard, and there were no warning signs or signals that, yeah, this person would not be equipped to be a parent. Like they act like they were in some amazing relationship, and oh man, if we have, the guy's like, oh, if we have a baby, I will be there for you, and I'll take care of you and our child. And then the kid's born, and like the guy suddenly just vanishes. He just it turns into a Where's Waldo book in real life. He puts on his little red and white striped shirt, and the only people that can have access to him are either family members, like siblings or his parents, or the state. When you try to call child support on him, or get child support on him, rather. And that's why when I was doing in writing the script for the video, I make the point of saying that it's really not hard for a person who is not doing their little troll nonsense to see where I wouldn't find relationships that appealing. Like, just being with someone is not enough. Because it's like this. I'm at a point, and I normally don't even like talk this reflectively, but I'm at a point where I've had, just multiple people I cared about die. People I'm not really all that close with have kids, get married. Just all the different stages of life. And I guess for me, the idea of getting excited about going on a date, right? Just it's not really all that appealing. I mean, this is something that has been tempted and kind of like baited by different chicks for years now, and I don't really find it all that exciting because, again, they've said they would do this before, but now it's even more hollow because of the built-in experience of having them having seen them say this before, and also the fact that you're just at a point where you need more than that to actually think this is going to go anywhere. Just like I gave the example of that one dingbat, Miss Stale Point of disinterest. You're gonna sit over here and enjoy and sit in hours long calls with somebody, tell them you're attracted to them and you don't even know what they look like, which is already like a red flag. Um, and I made the point of saying that I don't see the appeal of dating a woman or agreeing to be in a relationship with a woman who lives in another goddamn country, when so many times you've seen people who are in relationships touching each other and holding hands and kissing, and you can't do any of that with someone that's in another region. So again, it's like you can, I guess, say that you're this person's partner, but where's the intimacy? Where's any of the stuff that people who are actually together get to do together? And again, that's one of those things where if this were me from 6 years ago, 8 years ago, I'd have more patience for it. Because I used to, there were multiple like girls I spoke to online that were like, oh yeah, I had this one long distance relationship, all that stuff, and I was like, kind of like pining to get the same thing. But now it's just so hollow. And I didn't get to mention with that girl, she was saying that she didn't want to have kids, and I said, well, that's another reason I'm just not interested in the modern broad, because it is, or it was at one point, a dream of mine to meet somebody that you really like, that you enjoy being with and doing things with, and get married to her, and have a family together. And if you can't get I guess put it this way, if I can't if this person is telling me that there is no conceivable way that I can have that end goal, that dream, then there's no point in doing any of the lesser things with them. Like I tried years ago to have something with some girl that says she want to have kids, and I just like I it's the same thing where like I genuinely think it's a waste of my time to try getting involved in a romantic way with someone like that because it's just again what is this leading to? Nothing. Especially when you're talking about someone that lives in another country because it's like you already you can't touch the person. They're spitting in the face of what you would like to do long term. So what exactly is the appeal here? What am I so desperately missing by not being involved with you? Please inform me. Please let me know. It's just sad too because I've always wanted to believe in the often repeated line that oh, not every woman is the same. Da, 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 da." But I'm just coming across more and more of them that outright say I don't ever want to have kids. And it's like, okay, well, if that's true, then I guess I just will never be with a woman. Like there's nothing there. And I even said that in real life, if I meet someone that I just like hanging out with, okay, we can go see a movie together, go eat somewhere. But in terms of actually wanting to be with her and have some long-term relationship, I just can't see it. Like it if you were to tell me you can either be by yourself for the rest of your life or be with some woman that you might like talking to, you might do like doing stuff with, but she's diametrically opposed to any long-term goals that you have, then I would rather be alone. Like I'm not even trying to be funny. It's like if somebody said you can either have no car or you can have a Lamborghini parked in front of your house that you can never drive. It's like, well, hell, I'd rather have no car. What's the Lamborghini doing for me other than just taking up space? Things are just so pointless if they don't have an end goal to it. I've had a lot of interactions with them where I'm just left dazed and confused as to what was the purpose of it. Like you get this girl on Discord, sit up here and spill her guts about her family and then like what a week later block you. Again, just like what was the point? That's why in general I really don't talk to that many people, in like private like in one-on-one conversations because it just seems that when you speak to one of these chicks one-on-one, they have a higher chance of acting the damn fool. I was thinking about, I said yesterday and the day before, I think I talked to two people in like a back and forth exchange. This one relative that I try to check on because his other relatives don't. I do like speaking to him, and then I had this one guy, the one I mentioned earlier, I work with, who is going to soon be leaving for another job. I'm trying to wish him a good farewell, but also still try to keep in contact with him because he really is like the only person from there I've actually the only like non-manager person I would want to be friends with. No, all the rest of them are just kind of like whatever to me. I've always said one of my biggest frustrations, or I guess something I've noticed, is that a lot of people will call me their friend just without what's a good way of putting it? I noticed that because like for me, I don't throw the word around that much because I feel like a lot of people who say it are trying they might think we're closer than we actually are. Like I've just gotten so used to the whole come and go nature of relationships. I don't really take any of it serious enough to like form a long-term attachment in terms of just what's a way of putting it? I can enjoy speaking to someone, but if they decide tomorrow we're done talking, whatever, most of the time I'm just like whatever. Like, again, I'm just so used to, here's this, like this girl's a good example. Somebody will sit there in 6 hour calls with you and then have the nerve to call you boring and then just be like, oh yeah, we're going our separate ways. And then just never speak to you again after July. That's why I say you just can't take any of it seriously. None of this online crap can you sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, this is real. This is something I actually think is going to last." And there are people I've wanted it to last with. I mean, I did a whole well, I don't want to say his name, but there's one person who showed up on a stream recently and I really enjoy speaking to him, and when he got really busy, I think it was last year, we didn't talk for a long time, and just that's an example of where that's not me trying to phase somebody out or whatever. It's just he just got busy, and I accepted that. I didn't get mad at him. Um, but again, it's like that's why I don't get too fixated on the idea of having a long term dynamic with anybody because I just at least anybody online because I know how touch and go a lot of this stuff is. It's just one of those things that is I don't know. I'm trying. With people in real life, I still reach out to some of them. There's a guy I did work with who left months ago, and I still try to keep in contact with. I got to give him the new number because he has no other way of knowing it. Um, but yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm trying as hard as I can. Yeah, relationships are a really nice concept, right? They're a good idea. They're something that I understand where they appeal to people. But if one side is not willing to try as hard as the other, or if both sides are just kind of like flaky on it, like I feel like I like you today, I don't like you tomorrow, then it's just not going to work. It's just not easy keeping a lot of this stuff up, which is the truth of the matter. But yeah, the video is all encompassing. It's not just one topic or the other. Like everything just kind of piles together. That's why Why did everything start kind leaving nothing? That was all based around just, the inflection point of, okay, this has gotten to a point where everything just seems like it's spiraling and going down. We're just sinking further and further into the gutter. And I just had reached a point where I couldn't not address it or talk about it. But with what could have been, I really do want to kind of nail the idea of things can be much better than the way that they are. Like, for example, today I really wanted to write this script and I just got tired, right? I woke up late, or I guess I didn't get that much sleep, and then I'm kind of like just on autopilot throughout the day, and I get back from this drive and I go to bed for a little bit or take a nap, and I come back and you don't do as much as you would prefer. But even then, it's like at least I'm trying. Like, if I don't do it today, I'm definitely doing it this week. Um, like I'm making an effort. I mean, and I guess that's the problem, that so many people just don't bother. They don't even like attempt to make things better. Like I make this point in the video. I said, imagine how nice it would be to have a job that appreciates you driving 30 miles to work for them. And they're like, hey, if you need some food for the night, you can take some of this stuff that we're not using. Imagine how something as small as that could just go a long way, where it's like it's stuff that's completely disposable. They're not going to feed it to anybody that's actually trying to order anything from there. They could just, and it's just, that's why I said, like, it's with the more you think about stuff, you'll be shocked by how just little acts of kindness or decency can make things so much better. On Discord, I get links to calls that have people in them I've never even seen before. They have these strange new characters just appear overnight. They're like, um, Lord Landberry is in the VC. I'm like, who in what? I've never seen it because in the past it was, here's someone you have a DM with. They have all these new characters just showing up. Like I'll just be sitting there, Ball Cruncher 666 is in the VC. Like, okay, I've never spoken to Ball Cruncher 666 that I can remember. Writing scripts has been real fun. So again, the goal for the end of this year is that we got three big. I'm holding up four fingers. You can tell I'm not a good math student. I got three big videos I want to do before the end of the year. Nixon Part 2, Nixon Part 3, and Johnson Part 7, or I guess OBJ Part 7. If I can only do those three videos for the years out, I'll be fine. Like I won't even be mad. I'll say, hey, look, I tried. It'll be nice to do, Nixon Part 4 and more the last, like, I'd imagine 4 or 5 parts of the LBJ series, but I just don't think I'm gonna have the time. I still haven't bought Ambrose Volume 2 for Nixon. So I'm doing that because I'm trying to test and see if I actually finish using Volume 1. Like I've got it to where part 1 was the first like 100 something pages, or I guess 100 plus pages. Part 2 is the next 200 pages. Part 3 is the next 200 pages, and then part four is like 160 or 150 or some it's a little bit less. And man, that script, oh, what a juggernaut. And even here, I'm sitting there, I'm like, part two script technically still is not finished. It really is just like a little bit more of stuff that I could absolutely, wrap up probably before I go to sleep today. But I was like, man, part three, I've got like 4 pages of that written already. I'm thinking about how, like, I really do just jump from one to the other. Like, it'll be like, let's say I finish part two and put it out on Wednesday or Thursday, which is possible. I'm not going to say it will because I want to, like, I'm not going to stress myself out over this stuff. But just hypothetically, let's say I put this out. That means for the next day, the day after that, I'll take like a break. I just won't write anything. I'll just kind of like, okay, I got my new video out. Yeah, my new big giant historical video. Yeah. And then it'll be like 2 days later, typing again, getting ready to start part three or continue on from part three. It's crazy. I'll never forget LBJ part one and part two coming out 5 days from each other, like finishing this hour plus video in 4 days. This was me just typing. Man, it just shows you how much content can be made if someone has like the time to do it. Like if you just let someone sit there. That's why I said I always, like I'm fine with not making a living off of here. Like I'm fine with just having. I know how touch and go YouTube is. Just how you can be making enough to live off of one day and then just be completely screwed the next. But if anything, I would want to make for this to be my actual job because I just would like to make more historical stuff. Like I've decided at a minimum, right? If we're doing presidents, it's going to be Johnson, Nixon, Carter, FDR, probably Truman and Eisenhower as well. But if I actually made a living off of this, I would try to do probably most of them. Mm. And of course, some of the senators and other historical figures I think are important. Oh man. Like I said, I'm trying. I'm keeping it limited to just those three videos because I think I have enough time to do. I think what'll in all likelihood probably happen is I'll do, and this is like worst case scenario, right? Nixon part two and three before the end of the year, and then Johnson part seven will get stretched out over the holidays. Just because that video, like what I have for it right now, it looks like it could end up being 2 hours. Like I'm trying to figure out a way to split it or cut it off. Yeah, I'm just going off of what I see so far. Oh my god, I haven't seen the Akatsuki merchant and God knows how long. I thought he had forgotten that he was even a moderator on my channel. He went to go moderate TYT's chat. I've just been dealing with life's nonsense. Haven't we all? Oh, damn. Oh, the one thing I miss about the other place is having a damn chair. And every time I want to get one, I just keep having to pay all this other stuff. So I just keep putting it off. I would like nothing more. Like even if I had to make a damn box fortress to just put my computer on, I would like nothing more than just have a chair. But again, between the cost of food and paying for stuff with the car, and then apparently I'm gonna have to pay that thing to the bank again because someone who said they would do it didn't do it. Big shock. No one's reliable anymore, or trustworthy for that matter. So it's gonna be a long time before I can ever have the 100 plus to get the chair I'd prefer, or that I'd like. Like I'm sure I could probably go somewhere and get one for whatever, but I'm talking about like if you're only gonna get one, I'd like to get one I at least like the look of and presumably the feel of as well. Got kicked out of my old place because they raised the rent beyond what I could reasonably pay for. So now I'm crashing my homie's place and trying to get my own. That's really funny. During the homeless saga last year, it was assumed by the relative that caused that I was staying at my friend's place, and my friend does not own his place, so he can't just tell his parents he will now crash here. It's funny. It's like they just wanted to believe that I wasn't in my car because I guess that makes them feel better about causing the circumstances that led to me being in my car. People will tell so many lies to themselves. So many lies. Before you showed up, I was just talking about like the recurring theme of meeting all these different chicks that say they want to have kids, and how I guess I'm just at a point where I'd like something long term, and if they're going to shoot down a thing I'd like to do with one of them long term before we even start, then why bother, right? Like what's even the point? And I was trying to explain to this one guy. I said, a lot of the chicks that are supposedly reciprocating, and I use that in quotation marks because I don't trust any of these bastards anymore. But a lot of the ones who say things that are reciprocating tend to live in other countries. So it's already something that is going to have to be long term. I can't just get up tomorrow and fly to, Spain or Vietnam. So when they do the whole like, I don't want to have a family, it's like, okay, well, there's no point in me proceeding with this. Like you've already said you're not going to do anything long term with me, anything I want anywhere. No, I hope your homie's place is really nice and cleanly, and that he is not upset with you over anything. That there's no friction. That you guys are getting along well. That you're able to get your own place that's not charging some crazy, enormous, ridiculous sum of money. Oh no, we're good. We've been friends since middle school. Yeah, same thing with me and my well, I guess preschool, but whatever. Like same thing like grade school. That's why I guess they assumed I was staying at his place, but like I said, he doesn't control who his parents would let in. So I'm not going to put him in that situation where he has to like be in conflict with them over, just I'm not doing that to somebody. I didn't even entertain the thought of like, hey, can I crash at your place? I didn't even like bother asking because it's not his place. And that was the point I made before. Like I don't know anyone that's like under 40 that has their own place. At this point. Like everybody's living with their parents. Trust me, when people are saying they don't know how someone doesn't is able to afford a house out here or rent out here without having two jobs, they're not lying. Holy hell! Like I've seen some people, they'll work an Uber job and then go like, and they'll do that like in the morning, and then they'll go and work some restaurant in the afternoon, evening. Like I'm like, who the like? God, that's crazy. I let him crash my place when he was homeless, so he's returning the favor. Oh. Yeah, I have several people I probably would do that for. Just, out of like past favors they've done for me. Hey, he scratched your back, so now you're oh, you scratched his back, so now he's scratching yours. I had it mixed up for a second. Oh man. But it was nice to see you again. It's been so long. I really did think you'd forgotten I existed. I thought I wasn't even a speck in your memory. I thought I'd been reduced to a passing thought. I used to go on somebody's stream recurringly. Who was that? I thought you joined the Akatsuki. I thought you were sitting over there trying to get all the world's Jinchuriki. I probably would rather read Boruto than try to get the second job. And I've been hearing that manga is trash since it started. Nah, man, I really like your channel and hearing what you have to say. Life just got extremely complicated. I mean, yeah, that seems to be the thing going on for everybody at this point. Like, it's really disturbing how many people have just been homeless at one point. One of the managers at my job mentioned being homeless for, like, I think, 3 months or something. It's crazy. And dude, like, think how insane this is. The richest country in the world, most people are poor, and you have people who don't who can't who neither can get food or somewhere to stay. Tell you, when you hear stuff like that, it just makes your stomach turn. I really didn't think until last year that one of my, supposed closest relatives, and I use that term very loosely, would be fine with me not having anywhere to stay. But you see what money does to people. It brings out the worst in a lot of them, and that's exactly what happened there. Yep, riches, most productive country in the world, yet people are dying of starvation and lack of proper medical care. Well, the healthcare thing really disturbs me because there are all the other developed countries, right, have single payer. Canada, the UK, Sweden, Denmark, and we don't have it because of the for profits. And at least with as bad as the homeless thing is, and it's bad, I can see where some neutral observers like, well, maybe people, they don't know how to save money, and maybe like I can kind of get a little bit where they want to like spin it as the fault of the person, but there's really no goddamn reason besides just pure evil that we don't have single payer. Like, if you go in to tell people, hey, listen, healthcare should be like when you get a firefighter, everybody pays into it, everybody gets to use it. You don't have to pay for the firefighters to come and put a fire out at your house or at your business or whatever. Same thing with healthcare. They will call you socialists and tell you to go back to Venezuela, and it's all just red scare crap. They're not actually explaining or articulating to you why you should have to pay to get medicine, and just it's gross, man. It's nasty. Just like I mentioned, going to McDonald's and trying to get a free drink. Free soda used to be a thing. They just like that's the thing that all the different fast food places had, right? Now they have a button they can press that turns the damn machine off. When you go to get a drink, it'll just snap off. That's crazy as hell. You got like cheap bastards. I'm not about to sit here and buy a $10 burger that's smaller than my than my than, than my index finger, so that you guys can let me get a soda. Oh, I can go to the market and buy um how much was that again? So at the market they have these deals where you can get like whole cases of sodas, right? If I remember correctly, one case of 12 is like, I think, $8. And no, it's like $10. But you can get 3 cases for $8. So it's like 24 bucks for 36 cans. That's enough soda damn at a minimum for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But you want me to go and buy a $10 burger or a $15 burger from McDonald's to get a little cup of Coke? I said these bastards have lost their minds. Like I never thought I'd see the day where refills and self-serve machines are like getting phased out. Man, I will never eat a McDonald's ever again. I'll be a me getting something from there will be history. And I didn't even notice it until like a week or two ago because I in the past I was just like getting like an ice cream or without like ice cream cone. Damn, that is terrible. People should not have to spend an arm and a leg just to receive medical care. People in America are so pacified by capitalism and offended, even it's actively screwing them over. Yeah. I mean, you see people who are like, don't raise the minimum wage. Keep it at $7.25 forever. It's like, what do you even say to that, you know? Like, give me less money. The self-destructiveness of people knows no bounds. They will tear themselves up and like they'll be torn up by a lousy system and then they'll be like, let me rip off my own arm. Don't give me better pay. I can live a better so I can live a better life. Continue screwing me over and step on my neck, big corpo. I can really see them too. They get the little they have like the little 725 like on the floor next to them. And they're like, thank you for paying me not even $10 an hour. Oh, keep it going. Dude, they haven't raised the minimum wage in America, like the national minimum wage, in over 10 years. Actually, I think it's like 13. It's 2009. So like they haven't here. Let me see if I can think of a way to phrase it. Um, they haven't raised the minimum wage since the MCU only had one movie. They haven't raised the minimum wage since the newest DC film was Watchmen. They haven't raised the minimum wage since the newest what was that Pixar film was Up. They haven't raised the minimum wage since Michael Jackson died. Well, him and Farrah Fawcett and Walter Cronkite and Ted Kennedy. Hmm. People are so used to scraping by and barely being able to pay their that they think it's natural. They don't know that life could be better as it is in every other country that isn't the US. Yeah, I didn't even get to mention, dude, there was an argument I had with a conversation I had with this one relative, and they were like, you know, I live paycheck to paycheck, and you know, sometimes you won't be able to save anything. And I was just, and I said like in responses, well, I guess I'll just be homeless then. They're like, really? You'll just be homeless? It's like, well, what I ask, what's the point of working if you don't ever have any money to do anything besides pay bills and other utilities? Like I don't see the purpose in like again, I'm adult enough to understand that someone has to take care of their responsibilities, right? But it's like this. Let's say in a week you make $500 and then it's 40 for internet and 100 for or excuse me, like 70 for your phone and then uh another 100 for food for that week and then like 60 for gas. Like at a certain point don't you want to have something you can use to just do a non work or food or other utility related thing? Like, do you really want your entire every week you just get up and go work all these days, and all you can do with this money is just barely survive? Like, really? I just think it's lame, but whatever. You're just working for money for a company just to give it all away to another blood sucking leech of a corporation. Yeah. Well, that was what happened to me for from January to May. I was paying $1,000 a month, 700 to the bank, and then 300 to the relative, right? They always got the handout for something, right? And I just got sick of it and bolted out of there. So I said, like, this is stupid. Why do I have to pay all this money just to live with my own family? Like, and it's like when they were charging me that last year, at least that was like the only thing I had to like pay as a non. Well, I still have to pay for my own food and gas, which is I think BS, but whatever. Like okay, whatever. But it's like they see you having to pay all this stuff to the bank, and they still have their hand out for something. Like, are you out of your damn mind? What a lovely family. So, Akatsuki merchant, I want to know: are you actually returning, or is this just this is, or is this going to be like Robert Downey Jr. coming back for Avengers 5 and 6, where he just shows up for like 2 movies and then is gone again? Are you actually gonna be a regular reoccurring person again, or are you still in the throes of your situation, which I do hope it gets better? I'm not. I don't enjoy hearing about anybody being homeless. That's always just awful. But I'm just asking, should I expect to see more of you, or is this our final dialogue? Because I don't want to get my hopes up that the great Akatsuki merchant has finally come down from his ivory tower to bless me with his presence, and then it's all just another cruel joke, and he vanishes, and we're all left wondering, where did he go? We put your avatar on milk cartons and start looking around all frantically. I've returned for good since my situation has gained some semblance of control. And like I said, if I don't see you on my stream, you'll be on TYT's stream. You'll be sitting over there with Jenk and Anna and like, oh yes. So I know if you don't come to my stuff, I can always be sure to see you somewhere else. Hanging with the big leagues, the big wigs rather. And TYT has fallen off so hard. I'm just thinking about like all the videos people do on them. Like like if I type their name in, I damn near don't even get their channel anymore. It's just response videos. TYT's newest bad take. TYT's new. Just it's awful. I guess they don't care that they're giving them free advertising. Because some of these people, I don't even. I don't even check them out. They just appear on the channels of other people that I like because they're responding to them or they're taking their video and putting it in theirs or whatever. Hmm. No, I'm glad your situation has improved. I'm very serious when I say that. I don't enjoy, like I never would encourage someone to promote. My back is hurting a little bit. That's why I got this goofy pose. But I never would encourage someone to support me over supporting themselves. Um, so if I really do hope your situation improves. I mean that from the bottom of my heart because this whole thing of people barely having any money needs to get resolved soon. I want to see the return of Akatsuki merch, but only when Akatsuki merchant is good and ready. When he slayed all the dragons and vanquished all of the external evil forces that have been blocking him from my domain. Hmm. I think it's been a little while since I've seen Jem as well, but he was saying that he was busy over there in New Jersey. Personally, I think he's probably hanging out at the Woodrow Wilson Memorial, but that's my opinion. Oh, I can hear the rooster going off now. Like I was just normal to just hear that, just just of all the animals to have too. Yeah, my rent before it was raised was 950. I was fine with this. I can save 950 in a month. I cannot, however, save $2,950 in a month on a $15 an hour wage. Yeah, a lot of these like landlords and other jerks that try to like set up rent, they don't understand that if you charge someone more to stay in the same space they were in by a substantial amount, it could be a 20% increase, a 50% increase. You are cutting into their money to perform other tasks and duties. So, like again, the 950 a month for rent, back when it was 950, right? Okay, you could use your other 950 to get food, whatever other things you need. But yeah, if it's 2,000, then to hell with them. Hitting this stuff is a game, man. They're really lucky that people are not so organized and like, because I would love if people just all stopped living in houses. They all just got cars and live. I know it's never happened, but just something like really crazy that just forces landlords to have to cut these prices down, like a mass exodus of people staying in these overpriced apartments. Mm. God, it is so. So sick of that rooster. I've heard it go off at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 12 in the afternoon. It's like, just shut up, you know? Today looks like it's gonna be really interesting. I've got this relative I'm trying to go with to their appointment, which will be at 2 in the afternoon. Um, I've got this script I'm trying to finish writing. And to top it all off, I was playing a game yesterday and I guess this morning as well, technically, and I realized I hadn't played a game, like any game at all since I think in like 4 or 5 months. Because like I said, the computer I used to have, somebody else screwed it up. Um if I ever get back on my feet financially, I do want to get another gaming PC. Like, dude, I work an actual job. Oh, I got into an argument with the landlord about this, and he proceeded to call me a broke. Never in my life I wanted to violently. Oh my! Like, dude, I work an actual job. You're a high school dropout who got his landlord job from his daddy. Oh yeah, these people with inherited wealth think they're better than everyone. Dude, hey, Akatsuki merchant, remember, anytime somebody wants you to pay thousands of dollars, just keep in mind, this is a fact, you can look it up. Most people in the United States cannot afford $1,000 emergency. So if he wants to call you broke, then most people are broke. Who the hell could afford that? It's really sad watching the lack of self awareness of these bastards, but whatever. I don't blame you for getting upset. I mean, I didn't tell you, but like I had the one relative that called me lazy. It's like, just because you have a job doesn't mean you're not lazy, even though that word is typically associated with people who don't have a job. So people just they use whatever terms they want to tear somebody down when they're not complying with their insanity. But no, I would not fault you at all for not being willing to pay that. It's just unfortunate that raise had to occur, or did occur rather, not had to. They chose to. God, it's sad, man. I'm serious. I look at the prices of stuff and just the way people are living, and it's just so depressing. Like I'm so tired of driving down the street and you see people living in boxes and tents, and just it's really disgraceful that the United States looks the way that it does. Crappy governors, crappy presidents, crappy members of Congress. They don't care. Lazy as a term means nothing means nothing anymore. It used to describe people who lacked work ethic. Now people just use it to mean anything I don't like. Yeah. I used to get called lazy for not having a job. Now I'm called lazy even after I get one because I won't fold my blankets or pick somebody else somebody for up from wherever the hell. It's all just these terms are all nebulous. They're just thrown around for the sake of somebody being able to put someone down. I will insult you because you won't do what I want, even though what I want is something ridiculous that most people probably wouldn't do because of how insane it is. But I will insult you. Well, I am pretty tired, and I do have this errand to run later today. So, Akatsuki merch, let me know. Is there anything else you want to say to me? Any further comments, thoughts, theories, concerns? Yeah, it's not about whether or not you actually lack work ethic. You're not doing what they want, so you're lazy. Imagine calling people who have jobs lazy. Not even like a job you do like once a week, right? Twice a week. Like I'm sure your job has you up there what 3, 4, 5 times a week for probably if you're able to afford the 950 a month, probably like it's got to be a minimum of 30 something hours a week, and like that's lazy, really? So I said people just say things, no attempt at logic or meaning, and it's really sad. But yeah, if you have nothing else to say, we can wrap this up because I do have some stuff to do later today. Um, and even then, I am just in general getting kind of sleepy. But yeah, I'll be back on Saturday, and we'll be able to resume our fun discussion. So for the first time in a long time, thanks for showing up, Akatsuki Merchant. I know Courtney was here earlier. Uh, and have a good rest of your week. I'll see you on Saturday.